Hey, Connecticut. There are problems that I'm going to address, and you need to pay attention. On this screen, this is my document reader. You see my hand? Read it. I filed a lawsuit in Stamford Superior Court against Bernie Madoff, basically, which was stayed in the Stamford Superior Court and sent to the federal court, to Judge Underhill, repeatedly, case after case. Okay, money laundering, check fraud, wire fraud, securities fraud, accounting fraud by Bank of America, who had a partner named Judge Adam at the law firm of Kelly, Dry and Warren, and 10 of his attorneys, claimed to be my attorney, robbed us, stole our NASDAQ workstations, which are day trading machines, and proceeded to day trade with our capital from our bank accounts and cross stocks at zero, stealing them at zero, and they were able to buy them at zero, and we had to sell them at zero without our knowledge. So where's our stocks in NASDAQ, which went public at $13 a share, that's trading at $220? They're missing. But look on this piece of paper here. Natalie Nicole Elliker. Okay? That's the mayor of New Haven's wife. Lead attorney, U.S. Attorney's Office, 157 Church Street. Okay? Case after case, appeals dismissed. Dismissed out of the gate after the SEC and NASDAQ and FINRA stayed all the criminal actions, all the arbitrations, which we were required to go to arbitrate, seeing that NFS, which is this case, National Financial Services, right here, NFS, is a clearing firm. So we sued Computer Shares, Fiserv, many different clearing firms that were laundering money through Connecticut. Now, the fact that they sent the trades to Canada for an Australian corporation makes you wonder why, okay, they hired a hitman to kill us. That was a state employee named Larrabee, who worked for Malloy. Now, they used an informant without registering him with the FBI, which I brought this attention to the judge. They took an informant without following the Janet Reno guidelines and used informants as a hitman multiple times, the same guy, and the prosecutors of New Haven sprung Richard Filippelli, who had 77 arrests, to kill people repeatedly. Now, he was let out of prison to go after Lamb, a cop, an honest cop. He was let out of prison to go after another honest cop named Dealey. It's all in the federal indictment of East Haven police officers. Who? Carey, Zullo, Miller, and, Carey testified, Officer Carey testified that he was trained by East Haven to falsify statements to justify false arrest. What I'm saying here is they sent a hitman to Greenwich Global's office, my NASDAQ member firm, told me to go to my office where he was waiting for me. He tried to kill me for 2.5 hours. He had an axe, I had a hammer. The guy was a trained killer kickboxer extreme fighter, okay? Luckily, I went to fix the roof. I was prepared with, basically getting a call from the police to go to your own office because they want to talk to you. You have to be concerned. But the fact is, using state employees to arrange a hit by a federal officer's federal empowered informants is a crime, and the mayor of New Haven's wife was defending a money launderer. That's why they got paid, folks. That's why they stole the money for Judge Adams and gave it to who? Where are the records? They're at the Norwalk Police Department. They're at the Stamford Police Department that falsified a 20-year investigation into hundreds of thousands of trades through a NASDAQ member firm. And it's a federal case here, using informants, empowering informants, not following the federal guidelines. This is the problem. It demonstrates how a blue sanctuary state has no rule of law, enters into contracts for murder, where this informant was living in my brokerage firm's office for 9 months as a John Doe. They sent him. They did not reveal his identity. I had to find out he had 77 arrests. He threatened me constantly. Okay? When I evicted him successfully after 9 months, he moved into a woman's house with dementia. The cops knew he was a psychotic killer. He's currently in jail for robbing a Motel 6 at gunpoint. And this is what the state of Connecticut does. The police union has hitmen protecting their money laundering commitments. And there are 253 brokerage firms that this happened to. Maybe not as bad as mine because I fought them. But what I'm saying is I'm running for U.S. Senate because Jim Himes, my congressman, I went to him multiple times, 2008, 9, 10, 11, and 12, complained to him about hitmen for money launderers. And you know what? He'll have to get back to me. And that was in 2008. I went to Richard Blumenthal. I have Richard Blumenthal's letters. He's my opponent. Wait till you see what he said. Wait till you see what the Connecticut Cabal did. Now, Ellicker's a New Haven mayor. His wife is the judge. She has a conflict of interest. She breached the canon of political. She made political decisions. She's obviously a politician's wife. And the judges, Underhill, did favors for the Democratic Party because Malloy was the mayor of Stamford when Greenwich Global got robbed. And as you noticed, the Villanova governor of Connecticut got indicted. But the Democrats involved in the most massive money laundering scheme of all time, who are operating in Connecticut, are robbing people of their shares of stock. And we're not just missing a million shares. No. We're missing Select Therapeutics, okay? Quite a few shares. Select Therapeutics is a vaccine company that came out of the University of Toronto, a hospital for sick kids, the Toronto Innovations Foundation, and Madame Curie Hospital. What they did was give shares of stocks to doctors who were finding vaccine research to cure cancer, to cure certain things, and it led to, okay, the delisting of biotechs in New England by Jim Himes through his connections to the SEC, raising the listing requirements. Did you see Boiler Room? Okay. Do you know who David Lehman is? Do you know who caused the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac disasters? Okay. It all comes back to legislation Richard Blumenthal was working on with robo-signing. He is saying he's working on it. Oh no. He is saying he didn't know that he was going to a Communist Party event. He's saying he didn't know he owned Chinese corporation partnerships for television, radio, hotels, theme at Shanghai Disney. Excuse me. He lies about being a veteran. Everyone knows that. That's not the worst thing he's done, folks. I mean, I think when he met his wife, who was 16, he was 32, she was 16. Who in their right mind would allow their daughter to date a 32-year-old guy when they were 16? There's something seriously wrong here, folks. These cases I'm highlighting, which obviously not many people understand. Look at this. NFS, U.S. clearing. Motion to reopen. Denied. The judge involved with that had connections to Bernie Madoff. Hey, I'm doing a post about NFS and its connection to the Cabal in Connecticut because Underhill, right, is the judge, and the lead state's attorney on the case is Natalie Elliker, married to the mayor of New Haven, Justin Elliker. Crazy, right? And they just get away with it because no one questions them, A. They all have conflicts of interest. And by the way, she breached the judicial canon that she can't be involved in political decisions as a judge. Now hold on. You know how many cases they dismissed for money laundering? It's quite a few. So, it all was right on the money. I sent you one of the videos I made.
Okay.
This is my third one today, so I'm going to call it a day after this. But
no, you gotta.
I have cases of documents to highlight.
I just heard a guy on the radio, and he's really correct in his assumption.
What's that?
The politicians have one thing in their war chest that we can't take away from them.
Yeah, what?
When we send them mail or we call them, they have what they call a delete button.
Well, I called Elliker's wife, and she hung up on me.
Yeah.
I recorded it.
Right.
And, you know, people have problems with recordings, but when you own a brokerage firm,
right,
you're required to record your conversations because they lead to stock trades that you need to substantiate with timestamps when you took the order. Right.
And like I said, John, it's good that you're on this track.
Yep.
But sooner or later, you'll have to go back to those 12 things that we thought of. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, no doubt.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to circle about like Biden's administration. How about that?
What's that?
You know, the redhead from Connecticut says, oh, we're going to circle back. Yeah, we're going to have to circle back. They get away with it.
Well, see, the whole thing is, people are really getting pissed off at Biden right now.
Yep.
And now the press is really attacking Harris.
Of course, as rightfully so.
So without mentioning any of that shit, without mentioning anything that's going on.
Right. Now you realize she compared the January 6th insurrection to the invasion of Pearl Harbor.
Right.
That's a stretch.
But the whole thing is, it's okay, John.
Yeah.
Because no one's listening to her anymore.
No, her approval rating is -11. They had to dig up said 11 dead people to get them to give her approval.
Right, and she's not even warm, getting close to anything that she needs to get close to. So it's all okay. But I think at this point we bring it home.
Why would you make a crazy prosecutor the vice president of the United States, and have the president being frail? She could be president in 15 minutes from now.
Right, and the whole thing is, John, bottom line is, the Democrats are losing the shirt off their back.
Yeah.
The Democrats are pissed, so you might want to do calling all Democrats.
Calling all Democrats to say what? I just highlighted some of their emails between them.
Yeah, I mean...
And they're all, like, openly discussing the corruption.
Right, and the whole thing is calling all Democrats to the table. That's what you need to do. Calling all Democrats to the table, and anyone explain what's going on in D.C. right now.
Well, Joe Manchin couldn't explain it.
I just sent you that thing. From one of the...
and you know what? Joe Manchin got up and said, "There's so much pork in this bill, I can't explain it to my constituents."
Right.
Because he's from a coal state, of course. And you know what happened? They all attacked him.
Well, you got Lindsey Graham right now. He did an op-ed on a radio show program today.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure you read his shit when you get back home.
Okay.
Because he hits all the buttons you're trying to hit.
Okay.
But he does,
I saw the article.
Yeah, he does it from DC.
Oh, I shared it. I shared the article, but I didn't do a post about it.
Well, you know what? See what happens when you share the article, and then go back to the subject matter and do something down the road. That's all.
Well, most people in Connecticut, they may be reading some of this stuff, listening, but they don't comment because they're afraid they'll be, someone will do something to them physically, or they'll be kicked off the internet.
Well, they're gearing up for the next election, and right now, fucking millionaires are coming out of the fucking corners as a Republican, going against everything that Democrats stand for. So what you're seeing right now is you're seeing a different type of insurrection. Okay.
Yeah.
You're seeing it from the outside in. It's not inside the Capitol anymore. It's outside the Capitol, and now they keep going.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm talking now, implicating the federal judges and the lead U.S. attorneys in Connecticut as being complicit in the largest money laundering scandal of all time.
Right, and they're all on board, because as long as they can...
They've been just doing it for the party.
As long as they can take the money and pass it back to the party, that's all they care about.
Yeah.
See, there's nobody
right.
involved with the Democrats.
Right.
So they're not worried about repercussions. The tide is turning, and I think what you're going to see, John, is...
Repercussions?
Well, no, you can make a prediction.
None of them are getting prosecuted, and they're releasing everyone.
Well, no, but
the only people that are kept are the insurgents, the patriots of the riot of the January 6th event.
Right, and what you can coin this now as is, John, it's what's heading our way. What's heading our way is what these guys are all scurrying to the top, and they're getting off the boat like rats right now because they know what's coming.
Yeah, I hope they know. I hope what I'm hearing is true. I'm hearing there's a 250,000 arrests already, and that all the federal facilities are full.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I hear what you're saying, John.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is, no matter what they do at this point, it's the next election. Those flags are going to go on all the Democrat runners, and pictures are going to be taken of them, and we can start doing a real big fucking thing about it. You know what I mean? We can really we can get it, but we can hammer it away.
Let's do it. Ciao.
Okay, talk to you later, John.
Thank you. That guy works at a think tank. And we have so much information on the Democrats in Connecticut and how crooked they are that it's scary. It's scary. Look at Chris Murphy. He's got to go. Committed treason 4 times. 4 times the charm. Thank you very much, Connecticut. Look at the judges and the implications of them dismissing cases where the congressman gets the bribe. Johnny? Hello?
Hello.
Who's calling? Yeah, who's calling?
The cameraman.
My brother!